Chappelle Show.
All right.
Chefpreneur Show. Chefpreneur
The
Show.
Chefpreneur Show. Welcome back to another Chefpreneur Show. Wednesdays live at 5. We are happy if you are tuning in. We are so happy if you are tuning in because guess what? Last week we were able to start taking some live calls, which was exciting.
Yes.
We got the technology coming off of a great week of our free challenge
really
training.
Fun.
It's going to be hard to kind of keep. It's just, it's hard coming off that because it's exciting and it's fun. And then you kind of get back into things. But guess what? We've got new students and they are on fire for their business. And I'm on fire for them. And I'm excited that they're getting enrolled into our program. Yes. That we're going to be able to teach them and show them the right, correct, proper ways of doing the chefpreneur business. And it's just exciting. And it's going to be exciting to see them. And, you know, I had a really great call the other day with Chef Renee.
Nice.
And I'm just going to put it out there. And this is bragging on Renee big time. But I got to say, without a doubt, Renee, out of all the chefs, I think you are the one that I've seen the most growth out of all the chefs. Like when she showed up to that first retreat, nervous. She'll even tell you.
Oh,
nervous.
She was a wreck.
Yeah. Stressed, unsure, confidence level was lower. And today I see a totally new chef. And she's got some really exciting, amazing things coming up that have to do with like big, huge charity events. Wow, I really want her to share her story, so I don't want to spoil it. But I would love to have her on the show. And I told her that. I said, I'd love to have you on the show to talk about this because so many chefs need to hear your story and where you came from so that they can be inspired. They can be encouraged. They can know that no matter where you've come from, no matter what's happened to you, no matter what your circumstances are, you can do this. You can do this. You surround yourself with the community like we have, with inspiring, encouraging stories like Chef Renee's, and you'll be lit up for your business. And that's what I want to see for people. So I think that it would be just awesome to have Chef Renee on the show and have her share her story so that we can hear it, so that she continues to speak it, puts it out there in reality. Like she has a whole new identity for herself, or at least she should. She is a chefpreneur. She is the definition of chefpreneur. So Chef Renee, I'm very proud of you. We've been talking more recently. She uses Sue. So we have conversations around that. And she's just doing new and great things with her business. So I'm just excited for her.
I'm really excited for you, Renee.
I just wanted to plug that in.
That is awesome.
Renee right there. And there's so many stories like that. There's so many chefs so many wonderful stories. And I'm excited to start to bring some of them on. And, we're coming off the challenge. So we haven't, we got so many different things going on right now. Really exciting things. I guess for us, like with the software, the tip feature is released.
It's released already?
The tip feature is released.
Nice. I was just talking to Chef Dan. And he's like, is it going to be released today, tomorrow? I'm like, I think it's going to be released today or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's out there. So our tip feature, which I know some of you have been just dying for, is a huge part of the personal chef business. We know that. So we developed in the flow of the transaction, when they send the final invoice, they check a box, request tip, and then it brings up a tip screen for the client before they get to the final payment. And they can choose, and this is a poll. I want to take a little poll. So if you're listening to this, I want a little poll. I could probably bring up YouTube here so we can see it, but I want to take a poll. Right now we have 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. And then we have a no tip, of course, and then a custom. And I was thinking about it, and I want to make sure, and again, Andres and I focus all the time with anything that we develop with Chefpreneur that is meant to help your business. We want to make sure that it is helping your business.
Yep.
That it's impacting the bottom line, that is driving revenue, driving growth, driving clients. And with the tip feature, we can sit here and think, like we'll just go kind of with those standard percentages. And I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, but psychologically, here's the interesting thing that you and I have both learned through emails, through marketing, through everything that we've done, all the PhDs we've acquired over the last few years, probably about 30 or 35. Psychologically, people can look at that potentially, and I don't have any studies to back it up. I've actually been doing some research, but if you offer 10%, 15%, 20, 25%, I don't want it to affect your bottom line, like where they kind of gravitate towards the 10%. We obviously want them to gravitate towards a little higher. And part of that is, huge part of that obviously is dependent on how well that you are providing that service and you are making them feel like rock stars and like they can just sit back, relax, and you're taking care of everything and you're providing the best experience possible. It's a huge part, right? But psychologically, some people, right, and clients, you just never know if they're looking at that and they gravitate towards that. I don't want that to be lower. I want them, I want to help you drive a little bit more. And it's not to manipulate, it's not to do anything like that. But I'm wondering in the poll, if just what you guys think, just your opinion. Do you think that 10, 15, 20, 25 are good options? Or would you say maybe like 15, 18, 20, 25 or something like that?
That's a good one.
15, 18, 20, 25 helps to kind of climb that up. And of course, a custom option as well. So they can choose whatever. They can put whatever dollar amount they want in there. But to at least drive kind of just psychologically, that 15 was there. And I was thinking as well that on those percentages, we can put things like good, great, right? Excellent.
That's true. I like that.
World class, right? Like in order for them to kind of see like, hey, 15 means this, 20 means this, 25 means this.
Yep.
So I was thinking about that the other day, and listen, with Sue, like with anything we do, we push it out there. We push it out there. It's not going to be perfect, but we want to get it out there, get it used, get the feedback, figure out what's working, what's not working. You can't do that even with your business. So maybe that's a little topic for today is with your business. Don't go for perfect. And we talked about this during the challenge. Don't strive for perfection.
Yeah.
Strive for completion. Like get it done. If you don't know what you're going to name your service or kind of how your service is going to be structured or what's included or your menus, because I think today, if I recall correctly, somebody was mentioning about like they're struggling a little bit with menus and kind of developing those. Just develop them. Start getting feedback from clients, right? Put it out there. You can always iterate as you go. You can always refine and improve. But if you don't put it out there, you're not going to get the feedback and you're just going to be continuing to second guess yourself. Take away that second guessing by getting it out there. Take some of the slings and arrows, whatever your fear is about it, just take it so that you can improve and that you can continue to put good things out there. But that's news from Sue, and I'm excited. We've got some more subscribers onto Sue using it, and again, like we're getting great feedback from you guys. And software is not easy, but you guys are helping us so much with your feedback and telling us kind of what you're looking for, what's been helpful, what's been confusing, and our team has just been going to work, like it's changing this, like improving this, and it's just exciting.
It's awesome. Thanks for those updates, Brock. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go. There's a little house cleaning for you.
A little house cleaning, a little update hour, a little update few minutes. Well, first of all, before we get more into the show, I have a pretty serious topic I want to discuss today, and I want to be vulnerable today and talk to people about the realness of being a chefpreneur and an entrepreneur and some of the ups and downs that you're going to face. But I want to say some shout outs to Chef Laney, Chef Elena. How are you doing? Welcome. Chef Harley, Chef Dan. We love you guys. Chef Doug's World. Start at 15% is what he said. Okay. And so they're kind of giving us some advice and some feedback here as well.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys. Just wanted to give you guys a little shout out. Welcome to the show. And one of the things that I wanted to really discuss today on today's show is our ability. It's really difficult as an entrepreneur sometimes to separate, not separate. How do I say this in the most appropriate way? To prioritize sometimes certain aspects of business and personal life that are new to us. Welcome. We love you. The Chefpreneur movement is all about helping passionate chefs and cooks start, grow, and run basically a profitable and successful personal chef business. That's what we do. And so if you're just, first time tuning in, listening in, watching this, this YouTube replay, welcome. And we'll take a couple calls today at the end of the show. We want to maybe take at least one or two calls every show at the end, and we'll give you guys an ability to be able to dial in and actually, send us a text, and then we'll call you. But one of the things about being an entrepreneur is that there is a lot of freedom. There's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of choice. Over this last 5 days of this 5-day challenge, we just finished an amazing 5-day challenge this last week, and it was incredible to see the amount of energy, the people involved, the lives that were changed, the impact that it made, the community. It was second to none. It was amazing, and it really influenced a lot of. It really spoke to me, and it really imparted a lot of things on me this last week. And we did get a good handful of chefs in our program, and we're excited to help them further and really help them grow their business. And I think what I wanted to talk on the show today about, Brock, is going to be vulnerable. Is being an entrepreneur is not easy. There's a lot of ways that you can look at entrepreneurship and chefpreneurship, for that matter. And what I mean by it's not easy is that there's a lot of responsibility involved, and there's tougher decisions that you have to make because it falls on you. And as we grow as entrepreneurs, just like anything else, we get wiser, we get smarter, we understand things better, we start looking at things in a different way. We all are growing. And as I was seeing our challenge play out, with a lot of people really saying, like, I was on some calls after the challenge with some of the students and people enrolling, and it really hit my heart because they were talking a lot about, either they were getting laid off, or they got laid off, or they were just in this job that they just feel like they just can't continue anymore going down this just kind of like beaten path that they've been going down for so long. And I think, like, we obviously we are all about your advocates of stepping into being your own boss. That's what we teach you. That's what we want for you. We want you to be successful in your own business. But some people are not ready for it if they're not ready to accept as well the responsibility that comes with it. And I know I've used this quote many times by Thomas Jefferson. He said, "Great freedom comes great responsibility." And I don't know about you, but entrepreneurship, chefpreneurship, there's an ultimate freedom there. Things have to be done with your two hands. You have to get out of the cave every day, go out of the cave, go kill something, drag it back, to survive. And as opposed to you going and just kind of clocking in, clocking out from a job where there's not as much responsibility on you, right? You have responsibilities at work, but the whole thing is not on you. I think that sometimes we can underestimate sometimes of how much we need. And really the whole thing that I'm trying to get at is really needing community, really needing people to help you even after the fact that you make that choice. I think there's a lot of cliche sayings out there about entrepreneurs, like, you're at the top, it's lonely at the top, and all these types of things. And I actually think that that's correct, especially when you're around people that aren't entrepreneurs, or they don't have that same mindset and perception of what they want to do in life, such as you. I know Chef Harley is on this, watching this right now, and there's a lot of things that even her family members and different people are going to tell you that, why are you choosing this path of entrepreneurship? I mean, I remember even my in-laws, God bless them, for the longest time were like, when is he going to get a real job? When is he going to get a real job? And they just don't understand, right? They just don't understand that we're taking far greater risk to a degree. Again, I can even have a whole episode about that, and how I've even mentioned it. Brock's even mentioned it's like, I believe it's riskier to stay at a job than it is to do something on your own. Because again, I'd rather have full control. But again, with that control comes responsibility. And as I was talking to some people enrolling over these last few days into our program, to our accelerator program, I was like, you know what? We know you can do this. We're here to help you. But like the work needs to be there. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the effort. No one's going to do anything for you in that sense. If you want that to be the case, then go back to a job. You know, when I decided to be an entrepreneur, I just was at the ends of my ropes. I couldn't see my life going any other way except for it being in my hands and being in control. Now, I knew it was going to be tough, but it's tough. It's really tough. And it's tough in a lot of different ways, mentally, emotionally, financially. And what I'm realizing even today, I woke up and physically, I haven't been getting good sleep. I'm more overweight than I ever have been in my entire life. Again, this is a vulnerable moment for me. It's obviously true. And it's not an excuse. The business is not an excuse. But it showed me this morning of how much responsibility is needed for us to be successful and really take accountability and responsibility for that and how to prioritize that. And it's really difficult. It's not, I don't think there's a perfect way to do it. And the reason I'm saying this is because I actually don't want to discourage you. The one thing I want to do is I want to inspire you by saying that like, it's worth it though. Like I can't express that enough how much it's worth it. But we all go through seasons. There's seasons in life that we go through things, and sometimes like we're broken financially. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, we feel like we're broken emotionally. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, like what I'm experiencing right now, I feel like I'm a little bit broke physically, right? And like it's not about how you can juggle this perfection. It's how you can still keep pushing forward, learning, growing, being with a community, calling Brock, calling people I trust, and making moves to say, okay, I feel a little bit broken physically. How do I move forward from this? What's my path? And so, you know, I am not a health expert, obviously. You know, I'm very, you know, I have a lot of wisdom and knowledge that God has given me on this kind of business, on the personal chef business. And as I'm going through these things, it's like none of us are ever not growing. We're always in a continual moment of juggling. And eventually we become very good jugglers. And I was talking to Dan even before the show on our mentorship call, and he was talking to me, Brock, about, you know, just like, hey, we need you, Andre. Chefpreneur needs you. We need you. And that's all true. And my family needs me. But, and I'm not trying to get all dreary, okay? I'm not dying or anything, okay? But I'm just saying, like, physically, I just, you know, I work a lot, and I haven't been taking the best care of myself. And, okay, so at one point, I'm like, okay, my passion for Chefpreneur, my passion for Dinner with a Chef, my passion for what we're doing, the impact we're trying to make, my love and passion I have for my family, for Brock, for everybody around me, like, it's hard to prioritize things because I care so much about it all, right? But I'm starting to learn that it's okay to have seasons. And I don't think that if some of those seasons when I first started my business, I had really drought financial seasons. You know, my energy was through the roof, and I was like, you know, I was just being a hustler and going crazy. You know, I was definitely a lot younger. And as I started to progress in those things, it's like, okay, then I started kind of winning on some of those fronts. But because I was putting a lot of effort into one bucket, there was some other buckets that were missing. You know, and it's like you have your spiritual side, you have your physical side. And even in our online course, we talk about the 6 areas of life, you know, spiritual, financial, physical, emotional. I think we have family in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to let you guys know it's never going to be a perfect, wholesome pie. Like, I really believe that that's not the case. Like, what I'm starting to learn, because I really honestly, I went to my room this morning. I was praying. I was just asking my Heavenly Father, all right, Lord, like, what do I need to do to move forward? And he just said, like, okay, first of all, baby steps, number one. So the first thing that came out of his mouth, baby steps. Like, that's what I felt in my heart. Take baby steps, okay? What can I do to start to incrementally do that? I've been having a hard time sleeping. I think I have a pretty bad case of sleep apnea, I think. So I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, I probably should get rest, right? So tonight, after the show, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm actually going to start getting some rest. And so, but I felt God tell me, baby steps on top of the revelation of seasons. And we can never, here's the thing about seasons. It doesn't mean that we take our foot off the gas. It doesn't mean that, like, we don't continue to take action in all the areas of our life. But we start to look at, in a way, like, what is relating to the other and how do we navigate those things? And I just want to tell you guys, like, it's worth it though. Like, I don't want this to be discouraging, because it should be uplifting, because I'm coming to the show. Like, today I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling a little bit like, okay, like, we had a long week. It was a long week last week, right, Brock? Like, for our wives, even our wives, yeah. Shout out to Ashley and Danielle, like,
big time,
with the kids and all this stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of, we're not trying to sound like saints up here, okay? But there's a lot of sacrifice. When we do a challenge like that, we're taking a lot of time out of our day for 5 days straight. And it takes a lot of energy to talk to hundreds of people on Zoom, even though it's on Zoom, right? And there's a lot of energy consumed. And behind the scenes, it's like, kids, I have 5, broadcast 2. They're not like, it's not like they're all 19 and 20 where they're just like driving around and going to get us stuff. Some of them are still, pissing down their leg. I mean, it can be challenging. What I want you guys to understand is the uplifting is that, like, this show is designed and meant for us to be always transparent with you. And I think that, like, when we learn, myself included, I can be a very much workaholic. I'm very passionate about what we do. And it's an instinct in me that I've had since I was, since I can remember, like, since I kind of was raising my mom at 13 years old. Like, I felt like I've only known one gear, which is like, go. Okay. And that's a blessing, but it could also be a curse to not know when to slow down. And, what I want to tie it back to, and what I really want Brock as well to even speak to, is the community aspect. And the reason why, and actually I'm not crying, actually, that's actually just my allergies. My allergies are really acting up today on top of it all. But community is so important, because you can be along someone that has this high ambition, and you're kind of like, they're maybe where you were like 2-3 years ago, and you're able to like even Levi, the gentleman that's helping us with knives, shout out to Levi. He's just getting started in kind of like his entrepreneurship journey. So it's awesome for us to like share tips and like get him excited and like understand and teach him how to have a bigger mindset and a bigger vision, right, for the future. But then I called John, one of our business mentors, who sold his business for 9 figures. Do the math on that. Am I doing the right math? 9 figures, over 9 figures, over $100 million. Okay. Just throwing it out there. You guys don't know who he is, but that's okay. And what does he tell me today? Go take 30 minutes, put on some worship music, and just allow God to like.
Yeah, I say he's a bigger spiritual mentorship than even
his business.
Because the business comes from the Spirit. For us,
Bingo.
Business comes from Spirit.
So what's funny is I go to someone who's in their 60s who sold their company for $100 million, and he's telling me about spending time with God, right? So that's wisdom. Hey, yes, you guys are working. He told me, he goes, I don't even talk to you guys every day. I can feel it when you guys are around me that you're burning, what do they call it? Burning the candle at both ends, right? Yeah. Like you guys are working your ass off.
Candles.
And I'm like, yes, we are, John. we work hard. And then he goes, go spend time with God. Go put on some worship music and go allow God to just refresh you, right? And there's nothing wrong with hard work and hitting it hard. But as we grow, I don't want to say grow older, because I think age could just be age is a number. It's really about your growth spiritually as an entrepreneur and how much wisdom. Like me and Brock, like we say it all the time on the show, we get 4 or 5 PhDs a year from entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. One of those PhDs every year is how to juggle family, business, finances, passion, all at the same time. And a lot of that is it's difficult. It's not easy. But like I said, it's never going to be perfect, but you need community. Community is where it all comes together. I'm really excited about everybody that enrolled through this program over this last week, because where else can you find like in the business marketplace, most people are like, oh, it's a cutthroat place out there. It's like, you don't want to get together with other business owners. They're just trying to take your business and all that. And it's like, in Chefpreneur, we didn't design it that way. We designed it to where it's like, we're all wanting to win. We're all wanting each other to win. And by helping each other win, we all win. And it's so hard to do business alone. There's just no way. Like if I wouldn't have been able to call John this morning, if I wouldn't have prayed with Brock, like I'm a human being. I would have been in my head. I would have been all over the place, all types of things going on. And again, I'm very mind strong, which again could be a good thing and a bad thing, because sometimes I'll set my mind to something and it might be something not good, right? And I'm thinking all these stupid thoughts and I have to snap myself out and, okay, Lord, you did not give me a spirit of fear. You gave me a spirit of a sound mind. Okay, continue to push on. But community is so important. If you're not connected, join us every Wednesday. If you're not connected, join our Facebook group. If you're not connected, join our programs. Whatever you got to do to stay connected, though, in this journey, because it will be lopsided. There'll be times of harvest, but there'll also be times of plowing hard soil. And there'll be times for winter where you're kind of sitting there like, not sitting on your hands, but, okay, I can't plow the field. There's whatever. The field is frozen. What do I do? What do I do in these seasons? And so where's the rain? Where's the drought? There's all types of seasons we're going to go through. And community is, and just because I want to get, because I love you guys, giving you guys clear expectations of, it's all worth it though. But the seasons are going to come. But here's the beautiful thing. We're coming out in Georgia right now. We're coming out of, what do they call, like a fake
fall spring,
yeah, right?
That's for sure.
That's for sure. Because we have like a couple cold. 29-degree nights the other day.
Tomorrow.
80. You see, you come out of winter and then you start seeing the beautiful flowers blossom. Then eventually you're going to miss the winter because it's going to be freaking 98 degrees with 100% humidity and you're dying of heat stroke outside in Georgia. But that's what the seasons are. It's beautiful. But in those seasons, it's like, heck yeah, we're diving in the pool. We're having fun in the pool. In the winter, it's like, heck yeah, we're starting a fire and we're in the park,
parka.
Parka. Yeah, I don't even know coats because I hardly wear jackets.
Do you have a parka?
No, I have, what do they call it? A peacoat? Is that a peacoat?
Oh yeah, peacoat.
But you know what? It's we're up here learning things on a deeper level, not deeper level like you're not learning on a deeper level. I'm saying I try to just be very vulnerable and real with you guys that like we're humans. We make mistakes. We're going to miss a text message here and there. We're going to let you down. Software is going to have kinks in it sometimes. A link that we sent you for a program might be for some reason taking us somewhere where it's a broken link. I mean, I'm just giving you guys really basic examples. Okay. But like life, like Brock said just a minute ago, like imperfect action always trumps perfect inaction, right? Did I say that right? Imperfect action always trumps perfect inaction, right? Because if you don't do anything, nothing gets going. And so I guess I'd rather be a little bit broken physically than not do anything and follow what God has told me to do and put 110% effort in there, and then kind of figure out how to slow down sometimes and how to change gears sometimes. Like, I don't know if anybody, I want to know in the chat, this is a weird question to ask. Has anybody learned to drive on a 5-speed manual car instead of an automatic? I did. My mom had that that 2-door Toyota Celica that was a 5-speed. And I learned how to drive on a 5-speed. And let's just say getting out of first gear is a little rough, right? You start, you're killing the car and you're pilling out, one of the two, because you don't know how to release the clutch slow enough, right? Joshua said, oh, me. Yeah, some of the old school ones that stick all the way, baby. That's right, Chris. Here's the thing. That's how I learned how to drive a car. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? Like, entrepreneurship, going out there and doing your thing is kind of like driving a 5-speed car. Like, you'll start to learn how to shift smoothly. You'll start to learn how to downshift and upshift and all that type of stuff. But when you take off in first gear and you're first learning, you're going to kill the car a couple times. You're going to almost sometimes go too fast and, start peeling the tires, and everybody thinking they're trying to do burnouts. And you're like, I'm just an idiot that doesn't know how to drive stick. Or one time I remember I was in 5th and I accidentally downshifted a second gear. That was not good for the old car. I thought I was like a red line. I thought the engine was going to blow. My mom's like, what do you got? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like, put it back in neutral, right? And sometimes we need to know when to put it in neutral and just kind of like, okay, where are we going? What gear do we need today? But I don't know if any of this is making sense or resonating with anybody, but the journey, although it may be hard, enjoy the journey. Like, here's how I'm starting to look at this today. Okay. The way I look at it today, after I got my head right before this show actually helps me a lot, because I was thinking, man, I got to do the show tonight. Like, oh man, what is God going to do through me? Like, am I even up for the show? My head is pounding. I'm not feeling the best. I'm tired. But to be honest, this show is also something that really allows me to level up and suck it up to a degree to say, well, let me be straight with them. Let me be real. And I know God's going to speak through it. And so that's what I do. We hop on, and I felt that in my heart, like, talk to them, be vulnerable about what's going on, because I'm not trying to hide anything. Now, here's the good news. Before the show, about 30 minutes before the show, when I was talking to Dan, I really did feel like in my heart was like, this is just going to be another great story to tell, how I was at my highest weight. And you're going to see a changed guy in a year from now with Chef Andre is going to be looking real clean and cut. Okay, maybe not cut, because I mean, that takes like the 6-pack and stuff. I mean, that whatever happens down the road. But you're going to see a changed man over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months in my health. You're going to see it. You're going to start to see this fat triple chin getting to suck, double chin, then eventually like my original chin I was born with.
It's there.
Slim Chefy. It's in there. It's in there somewhere. In there. But here's the thing.
No one's going to trust you after this, though.
Huh? Oh, yeah, because you can't trust a skinny chef.
I don't trust you.
Well, I'll have a couple little like love handles, right? For my wife to grab and whatever. But the reason I'm saying all this is because it kind of got me reignited. Like, you know what? This is just something else to overcome. It's not the end of the world. God is a good God. And I'm on my journey. We're all on our journey. And eat more ceviche, Chris said. I love ceviche.
Oh, the ceviche is so good.
So good.
Can always count on you guys in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments, we can always count on the clutch comments.
Clutch.
So yeah, again, being an entrepreneur, being a chefpreneur has its ups and downs. It's going to be tough, but it's well worth it. And the thing is that you have control. If you guys haven't watched the video where I talk about accountability, part 1, part 2 on my YouTube channel, go watch it tonight. Go watch it tonight. Everybody needs to hear that, including myself. I'll probably go watch and listen to myself, which sounds weird, but because all of us have accountability. We need accountability, not only with ourselves, but again, with a community. People that support us, but also love us enough to say, keep going. and, hey, Andres, you're heavy and we love you and we need you. Lose weight. Doesn't offend me at all. That shows me that people love me. And so in business, sometimes financially, sometimes again in the business, like ask some of my students, I'm not like a Gordon Ramsay type, right? But like I'll be straight with you in your business.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to change your mindset.
Not calling anybody a donkey or anything like that.
No, you donkey. Yeah.
Hey Terry, man, what's up? Glad to have you here. You're new here.
Terry,
what'd
welcome.
you miss? You missed our best secrets, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, it's already all over. You might as well log off. No, I'm just joking. We love that.
We're just having conversation, just having a good time.
But Brock, I mean, I don't know if you want to speak on that because
I do.
It's hard, and we're not pretending it's not, but I'm going to tell you what, it's worth it. And I wish I was a diary. Maybe I should start keeping a diary. I should probably.
I have a book. Ash and I, my wife and I, we both bought diaries, and I've been naughty. I've been disobedient. Like God's been telling me you need to be documenting, like stuff, writing things down, and I haven't because I just don't. I struggle with writing. It's one of those things that I struggle with to like sit there and write, but I need to do that. But the other thing that's great is, for us believers, we hear God's voice in different ways. We hear him talking to us in different ways. And yes, we're very strong believers, huge in our faith. And one of the ways is I'll read something, I'll be coming across something, and then something like today happens where you're talking about this stuff. And I'm like, confirmation. Like we're meant to be talking about this today. And as like what is it? Is it Pastor Isaac?
Pastor
Isaac is always like, I don't know who needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody out there needs to hear
famous
this.
Line.
Somebody needs to hear this. And there's 3 points basically that I got out of yours that I've been feeling on my heart as well. Point number 1, and you mentioned this, you have to go to the extremes to sometimes learn your limits. And this reminds me of a time several years ago where I was very blessed to go do what's called a hackathon, which for some of you that don't understand what that is, it's simply, for a company, you're going and you're competing against different people within the company on like inventing technologies and software and solutions. And I was so blessed to be a part of the team that is actually now 2 of our developers. And when those awesome. 2, I work directly with them on, they're now 2 of our developers for Sue, which is awesome. But I went to a hackathon with them in London. And before I went, we had to practice our pitch, and we were pitching what they created. And that's kind of where I came in on the team, was helping to kind of devise, like, how are we going to pitch this thing? How are we going to speak to it? And I worked with a gentleman named Eric. And, shout out to Eric, man. He taught me some stuff about public speaking. And one of the things was that first off, it's a skill. That's the largest fear anybody has, is public speaking, but it's a skill, and anybody can learn a skill. But the huge thing was that he made me do this practice, and because sometimes I was getting into kind of like this monotone, like I was just saying it straight information. He says, you need to just let yourself go. Just like, be expressive, and go like way extreme, like be to where you feel so uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, I trust you because this is your profession. Like, you do this. So I did it, felt super uncomfortable, super awkward. And afterwards he says, okay, now you know where that extreme is. Now just take that and just kind of come back a little bit. Right. But I want you to stay like out there. So you sometimes have to go all the way to your extremes in order to figure that out. Like you said,
I like that's good.
And I'm sorry, but you have to be obsessed. You guys have to be obsessed with your craft. If you want to be the best at anything that you can be, you have to have this level of obsession. Yeah. And I think a lot of you have that with cooking and with serving. You have a level of obsession that you're constantly like, you're getting down to the details in the weeds about all the little things, like, Chef or Tony Mater D, right? Like, he's obsessed with like spectacular service, world-class service. Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to hear what we did well. I want to hear what we did bad so that we can improve. Like, even if it's like how the table setting was, where the flowers maybe not in the best arrangement, anything like that. And you have to be a level of obsession. So go to the extreme to learn your limit sometimes. Okay.
That's
Like,
good.
I hope that makes sense for some people. It doesn't mean like go psychotic, nothing like that, but push yourself to those extremes and then say, okay, like this is kind of like where I'm kind of hitting a wall and a breaking point where it's wearing me down. But you figure out that line so that, okay, I'm not going to cross that line, but I'm going to be right up against it. Number 2 was, listen, guys, don't pursue happiness. Simple as that. Your goal is not happiness. Your goal is not happiness. Happiness is a result of what you do. You are not striving to be happy. That whole movie, like Pursuit of Happiness, I almost wish they would change the title, because he's not pursuing happiness.
It's true.
Right? You are pursuing passion, and you are pursuing fulfillment, and you are pursuing something that you feel that you've been called to pursue.
Yep.
And through that, it is going to be a struggle. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And happiness is going to be a result of that. You're going to find happiness when you find joy in the process. Yep. The process of everything you do, even if the results don't turn out really great and it turns out kind of crappy, like you enjoyed the process so much of going through that, and you enjoyed the fact that you learned something from that, your happiness is going to come. Okay. But don't pursue happiness. Some of these people, they pursue happiness, and what ends up happening? They think when they're not happy, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And that is so sad, because being unhappy, being sad, sometimes having what you call a little bit of depression, that's life. Those are the normal ebbs and flows of life. And they're not something to be avoided. They are sometimes something to be overcome and to not like wallow in it. But it's not something that's like, unless I'm happy all the time, so medicate me, do whatever you got to do so that I'm happy all the time. Like, it can actually take you to a point where you don't want to be. And so that's not the point of doing any of this, is not to be quote unquote happy.
Yep.
It's to be like, honestly, it's to be useful. It's to fulfill a purpose. It's to provide value to other people, and happiness will come.
Finding the joy, I agree 100%. I think that just to even kind of like add on another line to that, it's almost, Brock, like we talk about when we're looking at our journey, right? The success is much sweeter when we've experienced the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
It just is.
Right.
It just something about that naturally has that. And, God talks a lot about not relying upon our emotions, and happiness is an emotion. Joy is from the Lord. So joy is a deeper understanding of understanding, like, no matter the situation, you're finding joy.
Right.
You're finding peace, because emotions, they just come and go.
Mm-hmm.
This morning, I got some glimpses of emotions. My body is not feeling well. I got some things, whatever the enemy's trying to put in my ear, but there's these little emotions that twinkle by. But it's like, man, if we would live on emotion,
if you act on emotion,
we wouldn't be working this hard. We wouldn't be working this hard, because it's like my emotions tell me, be lazy, don't do anything.
Yeah.
I think most of us are thinking that way, but I love what you said. It's finding that contentment, but also, like, it's finding that joy. But even when it doesn't make sense, the happiness will come because of that. And choosing to have joy in the journey. It also there's something about our experiences and what we do, like we talked about on the challenge. Our test becomes our testimony,
mm-hmm.
right? And so, like, we start winning, and there's just a larger and greater satisfaction deeper within of fulfillment when we overcome those challenges that aren't easy to overcome, but it makes all that sweeter.
Yeah.
And so I know we're kind of coming off on a little bit of the heart side today on the Chefpreneur Show. Sometimes we're talking about the industry.
Balance,
we're talking
baby.
about,
It's
but we're
balance.
balancing it. We're balancing it. Exactly. And what did you have, a third one?
Yeah, I did. But think. Here's how I think of it. I think of it like salt.
Ooh, salt. I love salt.
Okay. Now, would you just eat a handful of salt?
No, I've been dared to, but it's not good for you.
But why? Why wouldn't you just, first off, why would you not just, why wouldn't you just eat a handful of salt? Why wouldn't you just take a salt?
I do with lemon, but it just doesn't taste the
You do with something else, not by itself.
Correct.
Right? Think of the struggles, think of the challenges, think of those things that are tough in life. That's the salt of life. You got to sprinkle a little bit of that. You got to have a little bit of that in life. What does it do? What does it do when you put that on that ribeye before you slap it on the grill? Like, it enhances the flavor.
Oh yeah.
Salt is meant to enhance the flavor. The struggles that we go through, the challenges we have in our life that we overcome, that's the salt. It's the salt of the things that we're doing in our life. We got to enjoy it. We got to take a little bit of that salt with the good, and it's just going to enhance everything. That's the beauty of life. It's a blessing to live this life and to experience this. Imagine going through without any struggle. Like, where's the excitement? Where's the adventure?
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a little food thing for you. Number 3, I learned this from David Meltzer. I don't know if anybody here knows who David Meltzer is. If you do, in the comments, like, leave a heart or something. But David Meltzer, I like him, and I agree with most of everything that he says. But there was one thing that really stood out to me on one of his videos, and he was talking about balance. Balance in life. And this is my third point for you guys. Some of you guys are so stressed about balancing your day every day. Some of you are trying to balance everything every day. Like, I've got to have an equal portion of family, equal portion of time with God, equal portion of my own time, equal portion of work, equal portion of play and entertainment. Like, you're trying to balance your whole day every single day. And I'm sorry to say, but stop trying to think that you can balance every single day. You can't. You're going to go through, and we use this a lot, seasons. Okay. And you are going to sometimes have a whole week where it's just, you're like head down, you're focused on work. Okay. And then the next week, you might be just focused on your kids or family. Okay. Or you might have months like that, and sometimes even up to a year like that, where you are just focused on something. The balance comes in the total span of your life. You have a whole life to live. You have a whole series of days, weeks, months, years. Okay. The balance is going to be throughout that. So try to throw this out, because it's going to stress you out to try to do that every single day. It's like trading stocks and watching it like a hawk every single day. And it's like, you're doing this, but the bigger picture is the stock's going up over time. But you're focused on this one little area, and you're like, oh, it dipped. Like, crap, better pull it out. But then wise investors over the course of months and years look at what's the trend over that course of time. And we try to use these different metaphors to try to at least hit on some different points to try to get the point across visually, and explaining it. But please, like, balance is not an everyday thing. Some of your days are going to be balanced, but most times it's not. And that's okay.
It's okay.
And that's okay, especially when you're an entrepreneur. And that's why we bring these things up, is because it always comes back to entrepreneurship. These points are important because of what you've chosen to do, because you're trying to be an entrepreneur, be a chefpreneur. And there's these added struggles that come in that is not there when you have a job, right?
Yep.
There's more reward. So there is sometimes a little bit more what seems like a risk. It's kind of a funny thing, because in our opinion, though, like, I think it's riskier to be in a job. But listen, there's more challenges, but it's the salt.
Yep.
It's the salt of doing what you're doing, and it's going to be so rewarding for you. But I hope that point, I hope those 3 points, go to the extreme to learn your limit. Don't pursue happiness. And there is no perfect balance every single day. Like, those are the things that have been kind of on my mind, or kind of been coming up for me lately, just for things that I've been seeing. That was major confirmation from you.
There is no perfect balance.
And yeah,
we try to control it, and it's possible. But well, that was good, man. I was just got to get that off my chest, and we have some people already texting us in, Brock. If we want to maybe bring up one, I want to bring up Terry White from Ohio. I just texted you that his phone number here.
Oh, cool.
Terry, if you're still on, we'd like to give you a call. I know that you're new to the show. We'd just like to maybe bring you on and see how we can help you. So, and then we have a couple more here that we can.
All right, Terry, this is going to come from a 470-410 number. Make sure I got my volume up.
All right, let's see if we can get Terry on the line.
Terry from Ohio. I have to see if we got other numbers.
Yeah. We'll do. Let's do Chef K. Taste of K.
Taste of K. Be ready.
In San Diego. Let me go ahead and send you his number or her number.
Let's chat.
1 second here.
Yeah, I can't.
All righty. Chef K. Taste of K in San Diego. My ex-hometown.
Calling you, Chef.
Chef K.
Calling you.
Hello?
Hi, Chef K.
Yes, this is her.
Hey, this is Chef Andresen Brock at Chefpreneur.
We're on the Chefpreneur Show.
We're on the show. You're on the show.
I'm on the show. I'm watching the show.
That's awesome.
Well, I just wanted to...
Lucky caller number 5.
That's right. Well, we just wanted to give you a call. Is there any questions that we can answer for you today on the show?
Oh, wow. On the spot.
On the spot. Or tell us a little bit about your business and what you do.
Well, I started my business right in the beginning of the pandemic because of job layoffs. And I said, you know what? I might as well do what I love to do and start my own business. So I started as a private chef, offering, at first it was just couples private dinners. And then that turned into parties, baby showers, and then weddings. So it started scaling up as I, got my feet wet and got the word out, what I was doing. And now I'm actually wanting to do more meal prep services. So I guess a good question would be, how do I get started on meal prep services and scaling that business?
So you said that you've been doing private events, you said, right? That's like mostly what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. And you said it's going good?
Yeah. Well, it has its ups and its highs and lows. I guess, you definitely have to brand yourself and get the word out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been having quite a few inquiries this week alone on events of like 50 people or less. So it's it has its highs and its lows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And let me ask you, why are you wanting to get more into the meal prep side, if you don't mind me asking that?
I'm really into lifestyle, healthy eating, and a lot of my friends and I would say follow Instagram. They're really interested in how to change their lifestyle, change their eating, and that's just like a service that I had offered probably about 10 years ago when I started out cooking. But I wasn't I was only doing it for friends. So I wasn't doing it at the scale where I would offer the service to
Okay.
others.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're really passionate about more clean eating. Are you plant-based at all or no?
I'm plant based. I'm trying to go vegan, but I have a love for seafood.
Okay.
And so my plant based journey has been about 6 years now.
Okay. Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking is because I'm actually taking a look at your Instagram right now, and just from what I see, you got a great online presence and things like that, and it does look like, again, it's if people are asking for the meal prep, it on that side of it, I think that so. What is your goal? Is your goal to like really help coach people in like overall lifestyle by combining your meal prep with like some level of your coaching, or is it just more of like, hey, they might have their own meal plan, I want to just come help them execute that for them to become healthier?
I definitely want to implement the coaching part of it because I believe, what you have in your kitchen first
Hmm.
speaks a lot, high volume. So going into my client's kitchen, kind of giving them the coaching that they need, throwing out foods that that aren't good for them, and showing them how to meal prep. So essentially, what I was thinking was having a online tool that people can subscribe to weekly that offers the meal prep menus and the grocery list, and then so that they can have the option of doing it themselves or adding on my services for me to do it for them.
Okay. So here's what I would say that might be a good way to get into that. And I was talking about this with actually a chef in Italy. He's his name is David Fantone. He's like next level vegan as far as like his food is like Michelin starred, looks like. He's very passionate about helping people as almost like a coach with their health. And
Hmm.
one idea that he really liked that he's starting to implement and see some traction with was he was doing some cooking classes. And when I first talked to him, I was like, okay, that's great. You're doing cooking classes. And they were paying a good amount of money for them, right? Because people were trying to invest in how do I do some of this for myself? But then there's always
Hmm.
going to be a percentage of the people that are going to want you to just they want to hit that easy button, right? They're like, okay,
Right.
I like this, but I want the easy button. One thing that you could do to test this out, chef, this is just me. You can test this out as maybe doing some sort of like a cooking class meetup somewhere. Okay. Finding somewhere in San Diego where you can actually just rent out the space and do some type of a cooking class to your existing audience and say, hey, for 35 bucks or whatever, 25 bucks, I'm going to come, I'm going to teach you 5 solid core recipes that day. Very simple stuff or whatever. I'm just spitting something out. You can be better probably prepared at like what you would teach them, but teaching them some sort of something that they can really have some type of idea of like how to put something together for the week. And that's not really the money maker. What that's going to be is just really getting you out there in the sense of getting some people in to invest some money with you, learn some things. And then at the end of that cooking class, pitch them your meal prep services and say,
Mm.
I have this package, and you can go a little bit higher end. Even you can say, I could do meal prep for you, but what we do is I can do a special for you where I do a whole month's worth of meals where I come once a week, blah, 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 but this also includes a full kitchen. You could call it like audit of all the things that you're eating, everything that's in the pantry, the cupboard. I can help you with all the staples that need to do it, go in there, blah, blah. And you probably be able to sell 2 or 3 after the class by just pitching that and saying, hey, if anybody wants to work with us further, like work with me further on a more deeper basis, you want to push that easy button, I'd love to be able to come and just talk to you, and we can set up a time to talk about doing a meal prep service for you, and to in your home to make it even easier and do a complete audit. And what you'll do is you'll create some buzz because some people will actually enjoy learning from you and actually going and implementing themselves. And then what can happen is you'll also get, start to pick up your meal prep clients that'll probably pay you a premium, because when they go to a cooking class and you're showing them something, you're now the authority in their life of like, well, I trust only Chef K, right? I don't trust a
Mhm.
bunch of other people online. Like, she's in front of me. And then they'll probably even use you for some of their events and stuff down the road, right? So when I was talking about this to David, he really enjoyed that, and he's going to transition. Um, he's going to also transition to do that, possibly even do some like somewhat online. But I just told him, be careful with that, just because, it makes it a little bit more exclusive when you do it in person. If you could find that and kind of promote that, even if only 5-10 people come, even if only 5 people come,
But they're warmer. They're hotter
they're
leads.
they're hot leads, because they're coming to you and they're paying and they're investing, and you can really, if you just be very clear on your messaging too. Like, if you're saying, hey, we'd love to show you how to do some of these things, you want to make these lifestyle changes, but you don't know where to start, like, start putting out messaging like that. Hey, I'm going to be doing a workshop. You can even call it that, like plant-based or whatever, pescatarian workshop, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel in your heart is like where you want to go. And you can
Mhm.
really get your meal prep off the ground that way, especially if you already have some existing followers, like you're saying, that are really into that, and they might be already asking you for that. um, I think that's a great idea. I wouldn't go the online route yet. I would first test it out more in person. And again, I wouldn't be discouraged if it's like only you sold 4 or 5 tickets. Like, who cares? One out of those five or two out of those five are going to want to take you up on the meal prep, and you just give them a special killer
Right.
deal while they're there, right? But then what happens is, when
Mhm.
everybody's there, like, man, they pushed the easy button, babe, we should push the easy button. Like, do we have the time for this? Do we have like, and then you might have 3-4 clients out of that. Plus, you made a little bit of money in the cooking class. There was some, some content that you can use. Have somebody recording you, giving some of these tips in the cooking class that you're using for content, putting that content out, and then getting people, and then kind of starting the process over. And then eventually you might have more clients than you know what to do with. And then from there, you can
Mhm.
expand on either hiring a chef, building your team out, and helping other people, so that it's not just Chef K anymore. And even maybe Chef K stays more of those cooking classes and pitching the meal prep. And then you might have 2, 3, 4, 5 chefs going out there and doing the meal preps for you as a company. Does that make sense?
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how I would approach it, to test it out. And even if you wanted to make them free, I would make them pay something, 20-25 bucks, just to cover the groceries, because anytime somebody's paying, they're going to take it more serious and show up. Like, they probably actually want to learn some recipes. But you're going to find that a lot of them are not going to stick through. Like, and then switch up the things every month. Like, maybe do them once, like, see how it goes first. If it goes okay, try doing it again with some different recipes. What David did was, he like, I got to find his Instagram to show you guys. This guy is incredibly talented, but he was doing rustic stuff like garbanzo stew, stuff that people are actually going to make at home, not like his Michelin starred
Yeah.
stuff that's like beautifully all over the plate, right? So make that hearty,
Right.
delicious, beautiful food that's like, man, and then they taste it, right? It's a good way for them to taste your food, obviously, because you're demoing it in front of them, and you're not making them really like cook a lot of it. It might even just be more of a demonstration. You're teaching them, but when they try the food, they're like, ooh, Chef K knows what she's doing. Like, this is delicious. Boom. Then you pitch them, right? So, and it's for their benefit, because again, it's not just about trying to bring a bunch of people in a room and sell them something that you don't believe in, right? You're actually benefiting their life, because you're going to get them healthier by them using your services. And if they don't want to continue with their services, you still benefited their life by giving them probably 4 really, really good recipes, that even if they just rotate that at home, like some great lentil something else with this or whatever, they at least have something in their arsenal to go home with. And they're like, at least I have something I can cook. And Chef K did that for
Right.
me, right? And then while you're there, get some video testimonials as well. Like, there's a lot of things you can do. I don't know if that helps you out a lot, and see if that, but I think that would be a good direction for you to really like blow up that side of the business. Brock, do you want anything else to add, or
No,
no?
no, I think that would be a great idea, because I wouldn't want to add too many different strategies to your Chef K, because sometimes it's just good to just focus on one thing
Yeah.
and go
Right.
in on it and try it. There's other things that you can do, but I don't want to overwhelm you. Do you do coaching already?
Mm,
Like, have you
not necessarily.
like with the online program with the recipes and kind of tracking and things? Do you already have something in place, or is that was just a thought or a vision that you had?
I have a lot of recipes and a lot of grocery lists that I need to implement into a system. So I'm ready to offer that service, but I'm just trying to put it all together.
Yeah, and I think Andres is spot on, because the way that we look at doing business too is what's the lowest cost, fastest results kind of path, right? Because if you try to invest too much into something that's like a big picture thing, right? It's like it might not work the best, and then you spend all this money. We're always, as far as our entrepreneurial mindset is like, how can we do this thing at the lowest cost, the fastest way, and get some cash flow going, so that then we can reinvest it. And that's the it's a great idea from Andres there. The only other thing I would say, which I don't think this would be too crazy of a thing for you to pursue the cooking classes and kind of that strategy and this, but rather than trying to do everything on your own and creating everything for yourself, see if you can find someone near you and partner with them. If they're already kind of professional or have something going where they're coaching and doing that kind of lifestyle coaching, and your services can complement them, first off, that allows you to leverage what they already have, so you don't have to create it from scratch and spend a bunch of time. Secondly, you learn a bunch from them and how they're doing things. And thirdly, like, you're serving their client base, and it's that win-win-win situation where they're providing you leads and you're cooking for them and making money, and then on the back end you're building it up, right, and doing some of these things with the cooking classes and all of that. So partnerships are always a great idea, and I think that can help you kind of expedite the whole process.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of get your footing around that and you've learned from someone and kind of worked with someone on it, like, you'll have so much more ideas, and you'll be able to avoid some of the things that you didn't realize, and you'll come out ahead. You'll actually be able to build kind of this coaching vision that you have, by knowing a little more clear of like, okay, this is kind of how they did it. I like they did this. I didn't like how they did this, so I'm going to change that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
yeah, that's awesome. And one more thing to add, just because I didn't realize that you had so many of the like the recipes and all that, chef. Like,
Hmm.
that's a $97 ticket sale all day long. Come watch me make 3 dishes. You're gonna get a packet of XYZ. You're gonna get all these, all these things. You're gonna get recipes. You're gonna get this. You're gonna get grocery lists. You're gonna get, do's and don'ts of what oils, all the stuff that you put together already that you spent all your hard work on. Bring them in, sell a class at 10 people. You got $1,000 in your pocket. Food costs will be nothing, right? For them demoing it and them tasting it, right? And then you pitch them the meal
Hmm.
prep service after. I guarantee 2, 3 people are going to take the offer, if not more. You'll build your business really
Thank
quickly
you.
that way. I really believe you do.
Yep.
And since you already have those assets, you just work them into that offer. That $97 ticket, just get on Eventbrite, find somewhere to host the event, obviously, but that's not pretty hard. There's a lot of even restaurants right now that are struggling that would rent you their, a part of their back end room somewhere for, $100 for the day or something like that. But you probably have connections anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that helps. I think that that's a really good idea, and I think that you could really make something out of that. Hopefully that helped you.
Thank you. It does. I'm getting another call, but I will definitely start implementing this today.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, it was a
Awesome.
pleasure, Chef K. I hope to see you on with us more.
Yeah,
That was
that
wonderful.
was great.
I will. I thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take
you have a
care.
blessed day.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye bye.
All right. So Terry said that he was at work. No worries. Let's see who else we want to go with. There's quite a bit. Let's just do one more call
One more.
and then we'll hop off.
Awesome.
We got looks like Matt from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Steadfast Supper Club. Let me go ahead and send you the phone number. And yeah, so we'd like to talk to Matt. Let's go with Matt.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, if you're still listening, even though you're taking another call, Chef K, those shroom scallops looked bomb. By the way, I was looking on Instagram.
Chef Matt calling you.
Chef Matt.
Oh, hung up on us, I think, or something happened with my call.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He's like, don't be calling me.
He's like, I'm going to ignore you.
We'll try it again.
If not, we'll go to Chef Jared.
Cool.
Campbell from Texas.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh, there he is.
Chef Matt.
Chef Matt, how
You
you
are
doing?
live. Oh, what's going on here?
Excellent.
That sounded weird. Sounds like it was calling again.
Yeah, it still sounds like. How can we help you today, Chef Matt?
Excellent. I can't. I don't know. I didn't call you. You guys called me, so I don't know where we're at with it.
Well, just tell us a little about. Do you have any questions that we can help you out with? I know you texted us here. It looks like you're from Steadfast Supper Club in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it says that you'd
So
love to ask a question if possible. What's your question today?
Yeah. So, so I'm expanding. I'm kind of in the 2.0 stage of my business. It's been very healthy, and I do have some people that work for me that I'm bringing on in a little bit more full-time capacity. And I'm wondering, I currently offer I only do dinners. I have another small side part of my business where I do some very, 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 very niche catering.
Okay.
But I want to expand into doing more dinners because I can't do them all myself. And I'm wondering if I should offer anything at a lower price point, which has been slightly counterintuitive to what I've currently done. Every time I seem to raise my prices, I actually get more in demand. But
how that works.
with bringing another one or two chefs on, I'm wondering if I need to offer it just to keep the funnel moving.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the simple answer is yes, I believe. Have we talked before, Chef Matt, in the past?
I don't know. I've been called into the show a few times. I don't know if we've actually talked in person or not. But
I know that. I think you've been a part of our group for a while. I think.
Yeah, I have. I'm a little bit more of a veteran than most people that are in on this kind of thing. So.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at your website right now. So, I mean, the short answer is yes. I think that it's all about, it just really depends on what you want to do, though. You know, you remind me of a chef that just joined our program named Chef Ashish, who has really developed a name for himself, which is a great thing, right? I mean, he's cooked for a lot of A-listers and things like that, and does some really high-end stuff. His problem is he's like, I'm kind of getting older and I like this. I love it, but it's a lot of it is now dependent on me, and they want me and they want me and they want me. And how do I build a brand that I scale beyond myself? Now, I'm not for sure if that's necessarily what you're asking, if that's where you're at, in the sense of like lowering.
The answer on that is yes. I mean, I have to be realistic. I'm not 20 years old, and I need to eventually build it to a business that I can sell. The challenges with this business is it can be a sellable business, but it's also limited to how much you can scale it because it is super heavy people reliable. And, I have to trust the people that I'm with. I can't really scale my brand to multiple cities. At least I don't think I can. Who knows? Maybe I can.
Oh, you can, if you wanted to.
I mean, and I'm looking at it, Steadfast Supper Club, custom chef tasting experiences and boutique special events, right? And so, multi-course menu up to 18 guests. I mean, I'm just kind of reading through some stuff. I'll be honest, I think there could be some more clarity on your website because I know that obviously it's kind of like you're doing the personal chef stuff, but you have $185 for a 5-course, $223 for a 7-course. Is that correct? Things like that includes menu planning, all the stuff, but also the flatware, the glassware. So is that a mixture of? It's basically like you said, it's a boutique event. So you're kind of going a little bit beyond, but you're actually going above and beyond by supplying the plates and everything like that for that. I think that definitely can expand the brand. You might need to do a small rebrand And I don't know.
Which I'm currently in the process of doing. I will caveat with that.
Great. Okay, great. And so what I would say, Chef, is like, yeah, like you can expand beyond cities. And I would say that you're going to have to, in the rebrand, you're going to have to get a lot more clear. This is where a lot of people struggle, is that you've created a brand around yourself, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's obviously it's very successful. But it's probably also your style of cuisine. It's your fingerprint all over it. Right. So, which again is the good part of it. And unfortunately the bad. I think that, like I've said before, not only in the 5-day challenge we did last week, but I've said on this show, there's many times where the industry right now is hurting so bad that there's a lot of chefs looking for an opportunity to come alongside someone that's going to give them an amazing opportunity to do something great within a company, with them not wanting to necessarily have their own ambitious entrepreneurial spirit that they, for themselves. And finding that person is probably what I would probably be at the top of my list for you to say, okay, how can I revise not revise, but give a broader vision of taking this company, really branding it as its own thing, which Steadfast Supper Club is, technically it could be that name and whatever. I'm not saying necessarily the whole name change, but just the whole revolvement around you. And then I would get more clear about packages and who I'm going to serve. And really then just bringing it all along, like almost like an executive chef, to really start to take over the food part and really give them the reins on that part of it within the company, within the brand, with the oversight from you, slowly starting to release the grips on that, and then allowing the team to expand. And there's a specific way that I do it in my business where, again, we can't necessarily discuss it on this call, but where the pay structure is very straightforward as contractors, but at the same time, it's very lucrative for the chefs and it keeps your overhead extremely low. And that's one option. If you feel like, hey, we're already crushing it every month and we have tons of business, you probably can invest in more of a salaried person. I actually think the way that I pay my team, which is like a per person, per event type basis, it actually is more motivating, because if we're doing more business, the more money they make, the more money we make. It's a win-win for everybody. But I think that, yeah, it's going to have to be involved of like the niche has to be a little bit more dialed in to say, okay, what do we actually like? What are we really known for as a company? And that's the big 180 shift, is what is Matt known for, but now what is the company going to be known for? Where if you left in 2 years, the company is still existing on these level of standards. Now, the founder always has the heart connection, always has the parallel to it. It's always going to have the same identity as the owner founder. However, the brand though itself, building that up, you could still be the face of it, but not be the driving force behind it. So when I was talking to Ashish the other day, I asked him, like, is that what you want to do? And he's like, it's exactly what I'm looking for, because, he's getting paid really good money. I mean, crazy amounts of money for some of these high-end clientele, but he doesn't want to be that guy anymore. He doesn't want to be the guy that's, called at, 7:30 in the morning to say, hey, we got an 18 top tonight at a house in Beverly Hills, come do the event. And he's there because he's kind of the quasi chef of this rich guy or gal. And it's just, he's not a private chef, but he's doing all these little events like that. And it's like, he just wants to, in a way, have a team so he can actually have a business that is working for him, as opposed to him working so much in the business. So I think that, yes, you probably will expand. It's really the vision. If you feel like there's a demographic in a market, you have to start really with a niche again of where the company is going to head. Kind of, again, as not only a rebrand, but almost like a rebirth, and saying, okay, what is our target demographic? Is it going to stay within the $200 per person echelon? Or are we going to be able to bring it down to the $90 per person echelon, right? Are we going to expand our market and open it up a little bit more? Especially if we want to expand into other cities, other areas, whatever. That's something that you have to kind of really get guidance on and say, okay, this is really what I'm seeing this to be. And then again, taking that vision, communicating that to a team that you start to build around that. And then it slowly starts to and then you become that person where you can basically say, I'll take on whatever event I want, as opposed to what I have to. And then it becomes, because you're going to have, especially in the transition, you're going to have the clients that are going to be like, where's Chef Matt at? I want Chef Matt. And you're going to have to either, lay them down slowly, or say like, yeah, I'll do what you want to do. So,
or they pay premium.
Correct. Or they pay premium and you still make some good money and you do it for fun. I haven't cooked an event in, I don't know, almost 2 years now, a year and a half ish, probably about a year and a half.
Other than what we wanted to do.
Other than here, bless a family here locally in Atlanta. The company is running in San Diego very well. So, but every process has to be dialed in, and we're still giving great experiences to people that are high net worth individuals, as well as upscale blue collar. So it's really about the vision that you want to take the business. You've done a great job, Chef. So, it's not like I'm trying to tell you anything you don't know on that, but I do see that it would probably be some sort of an extension of the brand, again, a revision of it, or even like a rebirth of the entire thing to really hit a different audience, possibly.
Yeah, and I appreciate all that information. The way I'm looking at it, and I'm just wondering, is whether or not I offer something less, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be kind of jerky about this or anything. But if I cheapen it, I would rather raise the price of my offering and then keep my price at where I'm at, because to be honest with you, every time I've done stuff that's less money, and I've raised my prices significantly over the last couple of years, and every time the lower tier client is more of a headache.
No, it's very true. It's very true.
And that's why I got into I offer everything as a single price. Nobody wants to be nickeled and dimed.
Correct.
And I got tired of going to clients' houses and them not having enough glassware, flatware, and plateware. So I just invested and bought all my own. And then I don't have to worry about whether or not they got what I need when I get there.
So here's what I would say. You're going to have, so here's what I would do in your situation. I have more clear understanding of where now you want to go. This is what I would say to you. You're right. I'd probably keep your prices where they are. Keep the standards of where they are. Find the person that can hit those standards. That's going to be your biggest hurdle, but they're out there.
I actually have them. I actually have 3 of them already.
Well, then perfect. You're poised to win in that sense. Then what I would do in that case is, because now you have the standard where we do bring everything, we go like, that's just, don't fix what's not broken, right? In that sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now what you do is you really just start to lay that out and lay a clear path for them as a team and really grow the company that way. And like you said, yourself, you might have one more package that's like a super hyper premium that if people want you, that's where it's at. But then basically, again, you're starting to slowly, and then here's the thing, new blood is needed. You'll start to get new blood in of customers that won't know if Matt's there or not, and they won't even know about you to a degree, right? And that's the beauty. That's actually the beauty of where the business becomes the business. And I think that's where you're headed. So it sounds like you're right there. And really just going all in on that and expanding those. And okay, how many, I guess you would say, how many things of whatever you include in each service do I need for my 3 chefs to be able to be maxed out? How many events can we actually handle now? Because eventually, like, the other thing that you want to be careful of is that we can always raise our prices for additional revenue, but to a degree, it's like it literally can go off the charts, right? Like there's a ceiling to that at some point. It's not, for one person like yourself, that it could be with a few different clients, they'll pay whatever they want. But as an expansion, the more the price goes up, the fewer the people that are out there, right? So you're going to end up hitting a wall to a degree, right? So
and I know that wall is there, but I also know that every time I raise it, I actually get a better level of client. That it's crazy how much it keeps going. I'm also saying this out loud so that everybody else can hear it, because it's crazy how much you can expand your business.
It is good.
I mean, it's crazy. People have no idea.
Exactly. And these chefs are sitting here, I don't know if I could charge $70 a person. And you're like, oh gosh, people are paying crazy money.
At this point in the game, Chef, like, I don't know how good you are at tracking data, but data is going to be a huge thing where you're at. So like tracking all the numbers and then looking at that from more of a macro kind of point of view, right? Like what is my business doing at this price point? How many clients am I serving versus I raised my prices? And you're looking at trends, right? How many clients are you getting on a monthly basis? And then your price difference, so that you can look at over time, so you can figure out where's the sweet spot. Because with your business, you're either going to go kind of one of two directions here. You're going to get some chefs in, and you'll have what you would consider kind of that lower, I'm going to put it in air quotes, lower price point that's still high, because your price point for you is like, it's extra,
Correct.
extra. It's still going to be high for them, and you're still going to provide a great service, because even if a client pays 125 per person, like, most likely that client's still a good client. Like, most likely somebody who's paying 125 per person is going to have the things you need in their home and stuff like that most times. And then what I see is, like, you have a great brand here, Steadfast Supper Club. I could almost see that you have this as the overarching brand, and almost like Chef Daniel in Dinner with a Chef. He almost kind of has his own little personal brand in a way, without being
himself,
branded,
yeah.
without being branded.
Correct. Within our company.
Within the company. And they kind of each become known for something. So
that's how you're going to really grow the business. And I think I like, just let me give you one more analogy, Chef. You're like I've said before, maybe I've never said it out loud in on these shows. When I do a lot of these clarity calls with chefs, when we talk about their business and just kind of give them an overview of things, it's like, I do always use the example of like Porsche, right? I love Porsche. It's my favorite sports car brand. Okay. If Porsche would have came out 5 years after they came out, if you go to their website right now, it's probably, I think they still have it up. There's just like this massive picture of like their long heritage of racing, right? Like just every McLaren car they have, all the race cars they have, because that's their blood. It's a race car. Okay. If they would have come out 5 years right out of the gate, 5 years after they really launched the brand and just started doing the Cayenne SUVs and all this stuff, they would have failed, because people are wanting the race car, right? So in the Steadfast Supper Club, people are wanting the high-end boutique special event service. That's what they want. Okay. But you're now built a brand. I believe you've built a local brand name to where, again, like we just said, if you escalate your price, you might even have 3 tiers. And the tier that you have now, that's like your normal price, might be your bottom tier. You have another tier, and then a even higher premium tier. So now you separate like 3 services, which I just feel that in my gut for you, like 3 services. Okay. And build the entire company off that. But because your brand is so strong, you're able to now expand the line per se of your offerings, right? And so it's like your premium right now, which is your normal thing, becomes your low. Okay. And that's if you look at Lamborghini, Ferrari, all of them, like Lamborghini has an SUV now. They're following trends, but because they built a solid brand over the last 25, 30 years that people recognize as a sports premium brand, Lamborghini, Porsche, Ferrari, they're able to dabble in now
different markets.
Different markets. Does somebody want an SUV? Look at Porsche now, like the Boxster. I'm not a fan, but it's still a Porsche, right? So I can go with an $80,000 brand new Boxster, or I can go with a $190,000 brand new 911. I'm still getting a Porsche. 911 is much better, but that's just my own opinion. But I'm saying, like, you still have the same brand, right? You're still driving around with a Porsche badge. I think that probably 3 offerings would be good for you. Really getting clear on those 3 offerings and the rebrand, really structuring it away as though they're the process flow really well, possibly selection of seasonal menus that they can only pick from, no customization, maybe in the low tier. The mid tier has a little bit more customization. The high tier is Chef Terry comes, does a farm to table, seasonal, the whole 9, the whole shebang, right? So that you can really maximize your time on the high tiers. Mid and low tiers are taken care of by your staff, your team, and now you're really growing. And like you said, you have raised your price a lot, but there is a wall to scale. There's just no way. Like, there's a reason why French Laundry has per se in French Laundry, but they don't have a French Laundry in every city, in every state. It just won't work. It's a premium brand, but there's an identity there. And even them, they probably, Thomas Keller is increasing his prices probably every year, but there is going to be a max too. 2 years from now, he's not going to say it's $3,000 per person. It'd be like ludicrous. He'd lose 70% of his business, even though it's the French Laundry. It just, at that point, becomes kind of like out of control. But what I love about using you as an example is guys and gals, if you're listening to this is why we tell you guys start premium first. It's easier to start premium, go premium, and then be like, not necessarily downgrade, but take another service and say, hey, we now have a family style option, or we now have a XYZ option. And it still could be a premium. It's still a premium brand, but a service that maybe serves a little bit more open clientele. And it's going to take a little research too, Chef, to figure that out. But like, I really think that if I was you, to recap, really defining the brand a little bit more, about really talking more about that experience on the website and on the branding of it, having your current price be your low tier, coming up with maybe 2 more tiers, having the team take care of the lower 2 tiers, you take care of the top tier, as well as the oversight of the company. And then now you got fresh legs to run a whole new race. That's what I would do if I was you, because of the brand you've already built. Congratulations on that. I don't know if that helps you at all.
Thanks.
But that's what I would do if I was in your position. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I just have some other stuff I got to work out. You know, I mean, it's
you got something great here, man.
You got something great here,
but Chef, I love the brand Steadfast Supper Club. I like that.
Yeah, and like I said, the food obviously looks phenomenal. I mean, you're doing a great job, and so kudos to you, man. Like, and yeah, thanks for shooting us a message.
Yeah, it'd be great. And if you know, I wouldn't mind scheduling a call with you to talk a little bit more about what you said we couldn't talk about on the air. I'd love to pick your brain on that a little bit if we could.
Yeah, about kind of like payment structure and all that stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, if you want to
awesome
schedule, I think we still have our link here in the bottom of an accelerator call. You could schedule that. If not, I'll find you on Facebook and I'll shoot you a link, or DM me on Facebook if you want, and we'll get something taken care of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Have a good one, Matt.
Well, that was a good call. And I think that just shows a lot of you that are on this call. You guys are sitting there sometimes worried about, overcharging. 99.9% of you are undercharging, which is the travesty in all this. But yeah, that was a good call.
And everyone's at their own pace, And
everybody's at their own
pace.
He's
veteran 100%. As well. So he probably went through that at one point. Maybe not, but a lot of us go through that, just not quite sure where to value ourselves. And again, in the broader scope of things, this industry, personal chef services, even though it's not like this new quote unquote concept, it is a new vehicle. It is in a new season of its own life, and it's still in its infancy.
It is,
like, in the broader scope of everything, it's still in its infancy. So there's still so much that all of us are learning. And that's what the community is here for, is to share in that, so that we can, again, somebody said it earlier, rising tide lifts all boats. Like, let's help the tide to rise. That's what we're here for. We're here to change an industry.
Yep.
And that's what's so exciting about this, is that we're all at the forefront of it. Everybody here on this call, we're at the forefront of this industry in taking advantage of the blessings of technology and the blessings of our connections. Like, we can connect so easily. It's no longer, I have to drive down to the local mart to get the newspaper to see what's going on in the world. It's right in the freaking pocket of my jeans.
So at our touch of our,
yeah, that is awesome. Great show today, guys. Thank you so much for your support and being on with us as always. I see great things coming ahead. I see more and more new information. We hope that you guys really find some value from this. We hope that you guys are really getting a lot of impact, and this encourages you, it inspires you, it educates you. That's what it's really here for. So again, just to close out, we go live at 5 every Wednesday on the Chefpreneur Show. We'd love for you to join us. We are taking calls now, whenever we feel like, which is wonderful. Fun. So, but other than that, any closing remarks from you, Chef?
That's it, guys. We love you very much. And Jared, I did see your question, and it's a good question for tomorrow's call. And
different question.
Yeah, he had a question.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, we could have said it online, but I didn't realize it was already 6:30. Wow. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll get that answered. But yeah, we love you guys all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, don't stress, be blessed, stay out of the flesh. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.